Should an MP stand down or be sacked if found to be abusing the system?
Probably stand down, or it depends on how they're abusing the system. Are they being outright cheating it, or is it just been because they weren't quite sure, it was a little bit OTC maybe, then they can stand down, or obviously get a slap on the knuckles, but it depends on the severity of what they're doing.
If they're literally abusing the system, then they should be sacked. I think, unfortunately, the system has been quite grey for a long time, and now that nobody's got any money, they're all a bit cross. Because like, oh no, nobody's got any money, well these guys are stealing a load of money, all of a sudden it's come to a head.
No. No, maybe. If they're really abusing the system, it shows you that they're not the type of person you want to be in control. If they can't run their own government, they shouldn't be running their own country. But I think the whole issue's just been diverted what it should really be about.
Well, what about the MP that's...
£50 here, £100 here for a bath or an extra light, bit of compost, who cares? Let them have it, it doesn't matter. In the scale of things, they spend about 40 million a year fighting a load of Iraqis. Every person that pays tax in this country has basically killed an innocent Iraqi. Yeah, does that get mentioned on the news? I'm telling you now, but you probably won't put it on your website or anything, will you? So,
yeah, sack them all. Yeah.
I think they should be sacked, yes, without a doubt. When I did my expenses and I put them in to various people throughout the years, and if I was as much as 1 or 2 taxis over, I got hammered for it, and they were big blue chip corporate companies. So yes, I do think, ciao, bye bye. We all make mistakes, but Jesus, to make them that big, I mean, are these people stupid?
I think they should definitely, I think they should stand down,
Well, they have done, so...
If they don't stand down, then they should be
They have, so it's okay.
Sacked if they don't stand down on their own action, yeah, of course they should.
Well, the voters are the only ones who can sack them.
Okay.
And, hopefully they make the right decision.
Well,
we certainly do at home.
It's a matter of trust, They've
violate that.
They're violating a trust with the public that's paying for all of this, and that's just wrong, and they should get the hell out.
Do you think MPs should be able to claim for a second home?
Why? Why do they need a second home? They're sent to Parliament once a week, twice a week. Why can't they buy a travel card like everyone else? Maybe they could get that paid for by us. I'm happy to be a travel card for anybody listening.
It depends. There was one MP, again I can't remember who it was, who lives in High Wycombe, which is 36 miles from Westminster. 36 miles on the train, that takes them about an hour to get into work? But yet they were claiming for a second home, which was in some way ridiculous. That doesn't make sense. So I think that, if they're from somewhere further out in their constituency, somewhere too far out from their constituency, then they should. But I think it depends,
Not really. You've got enough money and they just get flat. Like, stay in a hostel or something,
Yeah, I think they should, because they've got to serve Parliament in London, and they've got to stay here. They've also got to serve their constituents, so they should be able to have both homes. I believe that they should. But at the same time, maybe they shouldn't be able to buy their enormous 55-inch flat screen televisions for their second home.
No, not unless everyone else in the world does.
No, I'd like a second home. I think if everyone was allowed, wouldn't it be fine?
Yeah.
Not if it's just them.
As an expense for their parliamentary job, like a second
I
home
think it
in
should be a
London here?
set allowance that's the same for
Yeah.
everyone, and not whatever they
Not an
choose
open-
to interpret as a second
Not an
home.
open book.
Yeah.
A set amount would be okay.
That depends, because they do work long hours near Westminster. So I don't know. Maybe they should do something like student housing or something like that. Have a little MP's apartments where they could cram into that or something and share up like we all have to.
What do you think this says about our MPs and our government? Do you think it's a case of one rule for them or one rule for everybody else?
I do think that, yeah. I think it's really selfish. I really do.
It feels that way, but obviously they still have to abide by the standard laws that we all have to abide by. But if they're being unjust, it seems like not enough is done to sort of stop it, really.
I think it should be one rule for them and one for the rest of us. They fulfil an important role. And I think what it really should have been is that they should have been paid a lot more money to begin with.
I think that that's what they've been portraying. It shouldn't be, but I guess it is. But you know, they are the people that make the laws, and they are the people that I guess that hold the laws. So you know,
They're snooty, innit? They went to like private school and stuff, and then they think like, oh yeah, so I can do whatever I want because I'm a little posh boy, and like he ain't. So I'll take the mickey, and he can like, I don't know, live in his council flat or whatever. I don't really give a damn because I'm posh and he's not. So yeah, it's rubbish.
You know, I think what this is another chapter in the last 10 or 20 years of the age of greed, and they're just, you know, things have been so lax, money's been so easy. All of this time, people have been making a fortune on, well, in the States anyway, real estate and all of these things that have collapsed now. They were just getting their little piece of the pie, like so many others were, I think.
Is it a case of one rule for them, do you think, or one rule for us?
Of course. Of course. Of course. I mean, God, I wouldn't be, I'd say, human if I stood here and said it's fair for MPs to have a second home, to have their brother living in the attic, to have a moat around their house. Hello, what planet do these people live on? I'm sorry, they're educated. They have apparently been to the best colleges in the country, the best universities. They're lords and ladies, a lot of them. But they certainly don't act like that. They act like juveniles.
As it's the taxpayers' money, who do you think should monitor and sign off their expenses?
Probably a representative of the taxpayers. I don't think it should be it should be someone who's independent. I don't think it should be someone, an independent person who's trusted by the rest of the constituents within the area, and someone who's not directly linked to any of the MPs in any way.
I suppose, I mean, it ultimately comes down to the Chancellor of the Exchequer, doesn't it? I mean, he's the one who handles where money flows in a nation. It's hard to decide whether, yeah, I mean, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, he handles the money, so the buck stops with him in terms of who decides.
What? I don't know, actually. That's a bit of a hard question to answer because I don't know who has the power. Who's selfless enough to do that?
I don't know really, it's a good question. I'd do it. Just get someone like decent to do it who's not going to benefit from it.
that's quite a hard question to answer because I guess there's, you know, who can. I think what this situation has shown us is who can we trust, but I don't want to suggest some kind of overly paranoid situation, but it should be run like a business. You know, any business has a budget, and I think they should have a budget.
Well, in the States, we have an office of, it's a Congressional Budget Office, and it's supposedly an independent agency that monitors those sorts of things. They also audit the different departments, like the Department of Agriculture, the spending, and they theoretically give an independent analysis of budget proposals, and I actually think that's the only fair way, is to have an independent commission or someone who's in charge of, I mean, who approves their expense reports themselves?
Well, I think the poor Prime Minister has his hands full at the minute. And he's getting a fairly rough going compared to our Tony, who was like the celebrity. He was nothing more. I mean, I won't talk about Tony Blair. I think it's a farce. I really do think. I think it's like a hidden camera show or something that's been done like Big Brother is watching. Do you actually care? But it's real life TV. It's real life living. And we stand for it. And we say, yes, you can go in again the following year and we'll give you a third home if you're not happy this time round. I mean, what do these people have to do? It's not rocket science. They have to run the country. It's not that difficult. Most of them come from little constituencies, which aren't all that big in fairness. I mean, and they can't even run them properly. It seems to be like a little group of the elite who get in to start with because they've had money pumped into them by various other companies and friends who know will benefit from tax relief. Tony Blair being one who went to give a huge tax relief to blue chip companies, and then who did he work for? PricewaterhouseCoopers. I think corporal punishment to a certain degree should be brought back. And if they are to be re-elected, they should have to face the public in Trafalgar Square. And if they want to throw apples at them or they want to throw eggs at them, then yeah, they should be allowed to do that. Or a good whipping across the legs. Then you can go in the second time round if you're prepared to take that, like some of the tribes in Africa.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Come on, then.
Cheers,
Thank you.
fellas.
We've had a lovely stay at London. Hi, Jeannie.
And Julie's your mum.
Yes, Jeannie Builder. We love you.
That's great.
Thank you,
Thank
mate.
you for your help. Cheers.
Have a lovely day, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.